This is a direct transmission from your future self. They need you to know that the protection you've been desperately seeking is already yours. It's not a wall you build, it's a frequency you are. This is not just another spiritual idea. It is a directive grounded in the physics of coherent energy fields. A powerful, coherent field, your soul signature, naturally, automatically, and permanently cancels out or repels incoherent, lower frequency energy. Your future self wants you to claim the protection that was always yours. Don't skip this. Over the next hour, you will receive the exact activation command to bring this dormant shield online, permanently. You will move from a state of feeling perpetually vulnerable to a state of being absolutely invulnerable. This is not an exaggeration. It is your birthright. This is a message of remembrance, not learning. Everything you are about to hear is already encoded within you, waiting for the signal to awaken. The science that supports this is elegant and absolute. It's found in the principle of constructive and destructive interference. Think of noise-canceling headphones. It's a technology that feels like magic, but it's pure physics. It was discovered out of frustration on an international flight when an engineer realized the headphones he was given were failing to block out the engine's roar. In that moment of annoyance, a question bloomed. What if, instead of blocking the sound, you could create an opposite sound to cancel it out? The headphones don't build a thicker wall against the noise. They listen to the incoming sound wave of the engine's drone, a chaotic, incoherent frequency, and they generate a perfectly opposite, perfectly coherent sound wave, an anti-noise. When these two waves meet, they nullify each other. The result is silence, peace. Your soul signature operates on this exact same principle. When it is broadcasting clearly, powerfully and coherently, it generates a field around you that is the anti-noise to the world's chaos, fear, and negativity. Any conflicting energy that approaches your field is simply nullified at its boundary. There is no fight, there is no effort, there is no struggle, just physics, divine physics. If you feel the truth in the idea that your protection is a birthright, not a battle, hit the like button now. It signals that you're ready to reclaim what's yours. Now, let's validate what you've been experiencing. Let's name the symptoms of a dimmed signal, not as failures, but as diagnostic codes. If you have ever felt completely exhausted after being in a crowd, that is not a character flaw. If you have taken on a friend's anxiety as if it were your own, that is not a weakness of spirit. If you have felt like you are in a constant, invisible battle against unseen forces, that is not a paranoia. It is simply the symptom of a dimmed soul signature frequency. Consider the feeling of a social hangover. You attend a party or a family gathering. You don't drink, you don't argue, you simply exist in the space. Yet you return home feeling hungover, energetically bruised and battered. Your mind replays conversations you weren't even a part of. You feel a sticky residue of other people's dramas clinging to you. That is the experience of a permeable energy field, one that is absorbing the chaotic signals around it because its own signal is not strong enough to create that zone of silence. Or consider the psychic weight of the world. You scroll through the news and the sheer volume of global fear, anger, and grief feels like it's being mainlined directly into your heart. It's not just information anymore, it becomes a state of being. Your entire day is cast in a grey shadow, your creative energy plummets, and a low-grade anxiety becomes your unwelcome companion. This happens when your field is tuned to the frequency of the collective chaos, receiving it like a radio antenna, instead of broadcasting its own sovereign frequency. And perhaps the most intimate example, the emotional hijacking. A loved one calls you, consumed by their own stress and panic. You listen with compassion, but by the end of the call, their panic has been transferred to you. They feel better, and you feel awful. Their energetic storm has passed through your field and taken up residence in your nervous system. You have become an unwilling sponge, and this constant act of absorption is utterly exhausting. It is the single greatest drain on the energy of sensitives, empaths, and creators on this planet. These are not personal failings. They are diagnostic alerts. They are your own system telling you that your broadcast is too quiet. So what is this broadcast? We call it the soul signature frequency. Imagine that at the very core of your being, you are a star, and this star emits a unique light, a unique sound, a unique frequency that contains the complete blueprint of your highest, most realized, most divine self. It is your energetic fingerprint. No one else in the cosmos has one exactly like it. This frequency is your true name, your true essence, your direct line to source. When this soul signature frequency is broadcasting at its full power, it creates a field around you that is so coherent, so bright, so uniquely you, that nothing of a lesser or dissonant frequency can penetrate it. It is your inherent, God-given protection. To feel this is to feel an unshakable certainty in who you are. It is a profound sense of inner peace that is not dependent on external conditions. It's the feeling of being the mountain, observing the weather change around you but never being moved by it. You are solid, you are present, you are home, inside yourself. But for most of humanity, for lifetimes, this frequency has been turned down. It's broadcasting at 10% volume, 20% on a good day. The signal is weak, intermittent, and full of static. And into this static, other signals can bleed through. The fear from the news, the anxiety from your co-worker, the collective doubt of society. Your field becomes a jumble of competing frequencies, and you lose the sound of your own soul amidst the noise. To feel this dimmed frequency is to feel uncertain, easily influenced, and porous. It's the feeling of being a leaf in the wind, tossed about by the moods and opinions of others. It's a constant, low-grade identity crisis, a sense of where do I end and where do they begin? This transmission you are receiving right now is the volume knob. It is the command key to restore your broadcast to its original, magnificent 100% power. The transformation we are initiating here is absolute. By the end of this transmission, you will no longer be a passive receiver for the world's chaos. You will be a broadcaster of sovereign peace. Your very presence will be your protection. The work will be over. Not because you have built a better wall, but because you will have remembered that you are the unshakable mountain. You will move through the world not in a state of defense, but in a state of authentic expression. And that expression itself will be the most powerful shield you could ever imagine. The search for safety ends today, because the era of your sovereignty has just begun. So let's go deeper. Let's move past the poetry and into the physics of your reality. The reason you have felt porous, the reason you have felt vulnerable, is not a spiritual failing. It is a misunderstanding of your own creative technology. You have been trying to fix a symptom, when the root cause lies in the very mechanics of how your energy field is projected into existence. Your energy field is not a static object. It is a hologram, a luminous, complex, and beautiful hologram projected by the single most powerful force in your universe, your own consciousness. The sum total of your beliefs, your self-perception, your core understanding of I am, acts as a projector. And the world you experience, including your energetic body, is the projection. This is where the deepest teachings of quantum mechanics intersect with the most ancient spiritual truths. It's called the observer effect. In the quantum realm, particles exist in a state of pure potential, a wave of infinite possibilities, until they are observed. The act of observation, the act of measurement, forces that wave of potential to collapse into one single, definite reality. Your self-perception is the observer collapsing the wave of your potential. Your consistent, moment-to-moment belief about who you are is the scientific instrument that is constantly measuring the quantum soup of your own energy field and forcing it to become a specific, tangible thing. If you hold a core belief, conscious or unconscious, that says, I am vulnerable, I am an empath who takes on everything, or the world is a dangerous place and I need protection, then you are acting as the observer that relentlessly collapses your energy field into a state of permeability. You are literally instructing the universe to manifest your energetic boundaries as weak, porous, and undefined. You are engineering your own vulnerability, moment by moment, with the power of your focus. It's not a punishment. It's physics. Think of it like this. Your consciousness is a lens, and your raw, divine energy is the light passing through it. If the lens is etched with the belief of I am fragile, the light that emerges is scattered, dim, unfocused. The hologram it projects is faint, almost transparent. Other energies, other people's projections, can pass right through it, not because they are stronger, but because your own projection has no substance, no definition. It's a low-resolution reality, Now imagine changing the lens. Imagine etching the lens with the absolute, non-negotiable truth of your being. I am sovereign. I am divine. I am the sole creative authority in my reality. The same infinite light of source passes through this new lens and emerges as a coherent, laser-like beam. The hologram it projects is brilliant, dense, high definition. It has substance. It has form. It has a clear and undeniable boundary, not a wall of defense, but the natural edge of a perfectly coherent form. This fully realized, coherent, high-definition energetic hologram is what we call the divine sovereignty shield. It is not something you build. It is not an external tool you employ. It is the natural state of your energy field when it is fully aligned with the truth of your identity. It is your factory setting. The shield is simply the result of you finally projecting the truth of who you are. It has three fundamental characteristics. First, it is self-regulating. It requires no maintenance, no recharging, no constant attention. Does the sun have to try to shine? Does a black hole have to work at being gravitational? No. They are what they are, and their effect on their environment is a natural consequence of their being. Your divine sovereignty shield is the same. Its integrity is a consequence of your identity, not your effort. Second, it is impenetrable to lower frequencies. This is not an act of fighting or blocking. It is an act of harmonic mismatch. A frequency of fear, of envy, of manipulation simply cannot find a resonant foothold in a field that is broadcasting pure sovereignty. It's like trying to play an AM radio station on an FM receiver. The signal is there, in the air, but your receiver is simply not tuned to it. It passes by, unnoticed, having no effect. Third, it radiates coherence. A weak, permeable field is influenced by its environment. A strong, sovereign field influences its environment. Your very presence begins to calm chaos. Your peace becomes an active force that harmonizes the spaces you enter. You become the tuning fork that brings other dissonant energies back into harmony, just by being you. So when people ask how to activate spiritual protection, the answer is you don't activate it like a machine. You remember it into existence. This is the divine sovereignty shield explained in its simplest form. It's your natural factory default state. And this understanding reveals precisely why the old methods of protection have always felt like a draining, losing battle. It's because they were all attempts to decorate the faint hologram instead of fixing the projector. Think of visualizing a bubble of white light, a noble, beautiful practice. But in this new model, you see it for what it is. You are trying to project a movie of a strong wall onto your faint or blurry hologram. The image of the wall might be clear in your mind, but the underlying hologram you are projecting, your actual energy field, is still permeable. A dense, chaotic energy doesn't hit the movie of the wall. It passes right through the faint hologram that is you, because there is no true substance to your energetic boundary. You're trying to add a layer of defense when what you need is a core of definition. Think of burning sage or smudging. It's like waving smoke through the hologram. It may temporarily clear the ambient energetic air within your projection, but it does nothing to alter the quality of the projection itself. The projector, your consciousness, is still set to vulnerable. The energetic static, the feeling of being drained, returns as soon as the smoke clears because you are still broadcasting the signal that invites it in. Think of carrying crystals or wearing protective amulets. These are powerful tools that hold their own coherent frequency, but it is like placing beautiful, solid objects around a ghost. The crystals are real, they are powerful, but they are not you. You are still projecting a faint, permeable sense of self in between the crystals. The problem isn't the space around you needing protection. The problem is the signal defining you. These methods fail because they are external actions trying to fix an internal broadcast issue. They are applications trying to fix the operating system. Think of the last time you felt completely drained by a person or a place. Can you feel, right now, how that was a permeability issue, not a personal weakness? It was the feeling of your faint hologram being overwritten by a stronger, or simply more chaotic projection. It was never an attack. It was a diagnostic. It was your system telling you that your own broadcast signal was too weak. This brings us to the new paradigm, the great shift, the liberating truth. You stop trying to protect the hologram. You focus, instead, on fixing the projector. The projector is your own consciousness. It is your own fundamental sense of an I am. The entire game, the only work there is to do, is to shift your self-perception from I am a fragile human who needs protection to I am a divine sovereign being projecting a human experience. This is the difference between forcing protection and allowing sovereignty. Forcing protection feels like effort. It feels like constant vigilance, scanning the horizon for threats. It's the background hum of anxiety, the subtle bracing for impact before you walk into a crowded room. It's the exhausting, never-ending job of being a security guard for your own soul. It feels like defense. Allowing sovereignty feels like ease. It is a quiet, unshakable certainty that settles into your bones. It's a profound inner peace that is not dependent on external conditions. It's the feeling of walking into that same crowded room and being the calm center, the eye of the storm. You are not defending against the chaos. Your peace simply dissolves it upon approach. It doesn't feel like defense. It feels like presence. It is the end of the war, because you realize the war was only ever with yourself. It was a civil war between the part of you that remembered your divinity and the part of you that was taught to forget. We have been operating under a fundamental error, a deep, systemic miscalculation that has cost us everything. It has cost us our peace, our energy, our very life force. We have believed, with every cell in our being, that we are fragile. We have believed that our inner world is a delicate sanctuary under constant siege from the harshness of the outer world. And so we have spent lifetimes building walls, casting circles and reciting prayers. We have become architects of our own spiritual fortresses, forever checking for cracks, forever reinforcing the battlements. The sheer exhaustion of it, the endless vigilance. This belief system forces us to see the world as a battlefield. Every interaction is a potential threat. Every person is a potential drain. Every news story is a psychic arrow aimed at our heart. We live in a state of perpetual defense, bracing for the next impact, and it is the bracing itself that drains us more than any external force ever could. This is the central paradox of protection. It is the belief that keeps the entire game of vulnerability running. But I need you to feel the space between these words. Take a breath, because the most profound truth is often the quietest. Your vulnerability is an illusion. Let that land, not as a concept, but as a frequency. The vulnerability you feel, the porosity, the sense of being an open wound in a world of salt. It is not a fundamental truth of your being. It is a symptom. It is an alarm bell. It is the deep and painful static generated by one single act, the act of forgetting who you are. The great revelation is this: your perceived weakness is an illusion created by the forgetting of your divinity. And because of this, protection is not an action you take. It is the automatic, effortless, and non-negotiable consequence of remembering who you truly are. This changes everything. This means you can stop fighting. The war is over. It never even began. The enemy you were fighting was a shadow cast by your own forgotten light. There is no external force to battle, no negative entity to banish, no energetic vampire to ward off. All of these were simply phenomena that found resonance with the false frequency of vulnerability you were broadcasting. When you change the broadcast, the resonance disappears. It is physics. It is spiritual law. You can finally lay down your weapons. You can unclench your jaw. You can let the tension that has lived in your shoulders for decades simply dissolve, because there is nothing to fight. There is only something to be. What if every moment you felt attacked was actually your own sovereign power knocking from the inside, asking to be let out? This means there is no energy out there that has inherent power over you. Think of the most draining person you know, the most toxic environment, the most fearful collective thought form. None of it holds any intrinsic power. It is inert. It is just data. It only becomes animated. It only gains access to your system when your own dimmed hologram has a doorway open for it, a space of matching frequency. When you remember that you are the source of the light, your field becomes coherent, seamless, and whole. There are no doorways. There are no cracks. An incoherent energy, like someone's anger or the world's fear, approaches your coherent field and it simply cancels out. It finds no purchase. It cannot compute. It passes by, unable to find a single hook to latch onto. You don't have to do anything. Your very presence becomes a nullification field for that which is not in alignment with your truth. This means your energy is your own, by divine right. For your entire life, you may have felt like a leaky vessel, constantly trying to plug holes as your precious life force seeped out into the world. You gave it away in conversations, you had it siphoned in crowds, you let it drain out while you slept. This ends now. By remembering who you are claiming absolute, unconditional ownership of your energetic field. It is your kingdom. You are its sole ruler. Nothing enters and nothing leaves without your express permission. This is not an act of aggression or walling off. It is an act of divine self-respect. It is the end of being an energetic sponge and the beginning of being an energetic sovereign. Your energy becomes a closed, self-sustaining circuit, endlessly regenerating from your connection to Source. This means your only work is to be yourself, fully and unapologetically. All the rituals, all the techniques, all the effort, it was all focused on managing the projection on the screen, the faint and fragile hologram. But the shift is to turn your attention away from the screen and back to the projector. The projector is your core consciousness, your sense of I am. Your only job is to allow that projector to shine at full power. Your most protective act is to laugh loudly, to love fiercely, to speak your truth without hesitation, to create the art that burns inside you, to embody your joy without apology. The more fully you are, the brighter your light. The more solid your hologram is, the more impenetrable your field. The universe is not asking you to defend yourself. It is begging you to express yourself. That expression is the ultimate protection. The entire approach shifts. It moves from additive to subtractive. It is not about adding more layers of protection. It is not about building thicker walls or finding more powerful crystals. That is the old paradigm, a paradigm based in fear. The new paradigm is based in truth. The work is not to add etus, but to remove. It is a process of stripping away all the layers of false identity that have obscured the brilliant, invulnerable core that was always there. We are stripping away the identity of the victim. We are stripping away the identity of the energetic sponge. We are shedding the skin of the fragile empath who is a prisoner to the world's emotions. We are releasing the belief that we are small, that we are broken, that we need saving. These are just costumes. They are programs. They are not you. Beneath them is a core of indestructible diamond consciousness. Your work is not to build a fortress around a fragile thing. It is to lovingly peel back the layers of dust and grime to reveal the diamond that you have always been. You are not a fragile human needing protection. Feel the profound difference. The old identity felt small, cautious, fearful. It walked through the world on eggshells, scanning for threats. The energy was contracted, tight, defensive. You are a sovereign creator projecting a human experience. This identity feels expansive. It feels certain. It feels a deep, resonant peace that is not contingent on external circumstances. It stands tall, rooted in its own authority, taking up its rightful space. Your future self knows this. This is the reality they live in every moment. They are not sending you this message to teach you something new. They are sending it to remind you of what you have forgotten. It's time for you to remember. It's time for you to reclaim your true title. Sovereign, creator, light. This isn't a future state to achieve. It is not a goal on the horizon. The evidence of your dimmed field, of your permeable energetic hologram, is woven into the very fabric of your current life, masquerading as your problems, your frustrations, your repeating heartbreaks. These are not punishments. They are not failings. They are system alerts. They are diagnostic codes flashing on the dashboard of your reality, pointing to a single core issue. The projector of your consciousness is running at low power. Your soul signature frequency is a whisper when it was designed to be a roar. Let's decode the 3 most common system alerts right now. See them not as wounds, but as a map leading you back to your own power. The first and most familiar is the experience of being an energetic sponge. You walk into a room and instantly feel the mood. You sit with a friend who is anxious, and you leave the conversation feeling jittery and overwhelmed, carrying their anxiety in your own stomach. You can feel the collective grief of the world news as a heavy blanket you can't seem to shake off. For your entire life, You may have been told this is just the price of being a sensitive or empathic person. That is a profound misunderstanding of the physics of consciousness. This is not a heightened sensitivity. It is a lack of energetic definition. When your soul signature frequency is dim, the hologram of your energy field that you project is faint, porous, and its edges are undefined. There is no clear boundary between where you end and another begins. So, of course, you absorb their energy. Their holographic projection simply passes right through your own, leaving its residue, its informational static, in your system. Consider this scenario. A woman sits in a critical business meeting. Her boss is radiating waves of intense stress about the quarterly numbers. Before, with her dimmed field, she would feel that stress enter her own body. Her heart rate would increase, her palms would sweat. She would begin to feel an irrational fear of failure that was not hers. She would leave that meeting feeling drained, confused, and unable to focus on her own tasks because she was processing her boss's emotional state as if it were her own reality. Her system was hijacked. Now let's replay that exact same meeting after she has remembered her sovereignty. She enters the room, her divine sovereignty shield, which is simply her soul signature broadcasting at full power, is her natural state. The hologram of her being is bright, coherent, high definition. Her boss radiates the same waves of stress, but this time, those waves encounter the clear, defined boundary of her sovereign field. They cannot penetrate. The incoherent energy of his fear is nullified by the coherent frequency of her peace, just as a noise-canceling headphone nullifies ambient sound. She is not cold. She is not unfeeling. She can still perceive his stress, but she perceives it as information, as data. It is weather happening on the other side of a perfectly clear, unbreakable window. She remains calm, centered, and able to access her own insight and creativity. She contributes to the meeting from a place of power, not absorption. She leaves the meeting feeling exactly as she did when she entered, whole, complete, and sovereign over her own inner state. This is not a skill she learned. It is a property of her remembered nature. The second diagnostic alert is the experience of recurring negative patterns. This is the strange and maddening sense of living in a loop. It's the pattern of attracting the same type of romantic partner again and again, the one who promises the world but is emotionally unavailable. It's the cycle of landing a new job that feels exciting at first, only to have it sour in the exact same way as the last one, with the same feelings of being undervalued or creatively stifled. It's the persistent financial struggle that seems to follow you, no matter how hard you work. This is not bad luck. It is not karma in the way you've been taught. It is a function of resonance. A dimmed soul signature frequency is like an antenna that is locked onto a specific, low vibrational station. A frequency of "I am not worthy of true love," or "I am always overlooked," or "there is never enough." Because your broadcast is weak, you cannot change the channel. Your energy field becomes a resonant cavity for that specific struggle, and you attract people and circumstances that vibrate at that exact same frequency to come and play out the drama with you. They are not the cause of your suffering. They are the proof of your broadcast. In the comments, share which of these 3 signs you now recognize in your own life. Let's create a powerful witness for each other as we shed these old patterns together. Imagine a man who consistently attracts manipulative partners. His dimmed field is broadcasting a subtle frequency of neediness, a subconscious plea for validation that says, "Oh, tell me I am good enough." This frequency is a perfect resonant match for a partner whose own distorted pattern is based on control and feeling powerful by being the source of someone else's validation. They are a perfect energetic lock and key, and so the pattern repeats. He fights the partner. He leaves the partner, but because he hasn't changed his own broadcast, he simply attracts another who fits the same energetic keyhole. But then he undergoes the shift. He remembers he is not the hologram. He is the light projecting it. He claims his divine sovereignty. His core broadcast is no longer, "Please validate me." It becomes a silent, powerful, unshakable statement of, "I am whole. I am complete. I am the source of my own validation." Suddenly, his resonant frequency has changed entirely. He is no longer an antenna for manipulation. A manipulative person might enter his field, but there is no resonance. There is no hook. The interaction feels dissonant, boring, and falls away almost instantly. He has broken the pattern forever, not by learning new dating strategies, but by fundamentally changing his own broadcast. He healed the issue at the level of the projector, not the projection. The third system alert is the presence of creative and intuitive fog. This is the feeling of being blocked, disconnected. It's the writer staring at a blank page with a silent mind. It's the entrepreneur who has lost their vision. It's the nagging sense that your intuition, your inner guidance system, is offline or full of static. You try to meditate, and you find only mental chatter. You ask for guidance and hear only silence. This blockage is the greatest lie of all. Your connection to Source, to the infinite intelligence of the cosmos, is never, ever broken. It is a fundamental property of your existence. The problem is not the connection, it is the receiver. You have been tuned to the wrong station. Your dimmed soul signature frequency is being overpowered by the deafening broadcast of the collective consciousness. You are tuned into the frequency of collective fear, collective doubt, collective limitation. You are trying to hear the divine whisper of your own soul through the screaming static of humanity's shared anxieties. It is impossible. Your creative and intuitive channels are not blocked, they are simply drowned out. Think of an artist in her studio. With a dimmed field, she is a receiver for the world's noise. She absorbs the fear from the news, the financial anxiety of her family, the creative jealousy of her peers. She sits down to paint, and her channel is clogged with this psychic debris. Her intuition cannot be heard. Her creative impulse is smothered under the weight of 1,000 foreign frequencies. Now she activates her divine sovereignty shield. She remembers she is the broadcaster. Her field becomes coherent and sovereign. It is no longer a receiver for the world's chaos. It is a silent, sacred space defined by her own I Am presence. In this profound inner silence, the voice of Source, her own highest intuition, is no longer a whisper. It is a clear, powerful, unmistakable signal. Ideas flow. Inspiration becomes her natural state of being. She is no longer an artist trying to create. She is creation itself, flowing through the vessel of her human form. The fog lifts, not because she pushed it away, but because she simply changed the channel from the world's static to the clear broadcast of her own divinity. Energetic sponging, recurring patterns, creative fog. These are the primary diagnostic codes. From this moment forward, when you feel one of them, your programming changes. Your old response was, "What is wrong with me? Why is this happening to me again?" It was a response rooted in victimhood. Your new response is one of empowered awareness. You will feel the absorption, the pattern, or the fog, and you will pause. You will take a breath, and you will say to yourself, "Ah, I see, a system alert. A compassionate reminder to amplify my true signal." That is all. No fighting. No drama, no self-blame. You simply recognize the symptom for what it is. Evidence that your divine light needs to be turned up. It is a reminder to come home to the truth of who you are. This simple cognitive switch moves you from being the victim of your life circumstances to being the conscious engineer of your own reality. The theory is complete. The evidence is clear. Now, we do not learn. We remember. Find a space where you can be undisturbed for the next few moments. If you can, sit upright, with your spine aligned, a noble posture for a sovereign being. If not, simply be where you are. The power is in your consciousness, not your position. This is the moment of activation. This is the reason you are here. Go ahead and gently close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath in, and as you release it, release the identity of the person who is trying. Release the identity of the seeker. Release the one who has felt vulnerable. Let it all go with that one breath. You are now simply presence. And in this presence, I want you to invite, to call forward, the presence of your fully realized future self. You do not need to see this being. You need only to feel, sense a presence entering the space around you. It might feel like a shift in the air pressure, a warmth on your skin, a deep, resonant hum just below the threshold of hearing. This is the version of you who has remembered everything, the you who has mastered this state of being. Feel the quality of this presence. It is a presence of absolute calm, an unshakable peace that comes from knowing, not from believing. This is the energy of a star, immense in its power, yet held in perfect, effortless stillness. There is no judgment here, only infinite compassion and a deep, resounding pride in you for arriving at this moment of remembrance. Feel that presence drawing closer. It stands before you, or behind you, or all around you. It is you. Allow yourself to be held in this field of absolute coherence. For the first time in a long time, you can let down all of your defenses. You can stop holding everything together. You are in the safest space in the universe, the presence of your own divinity. Now, feel a shift. Sense your future self reaching out, placing a hand gently upon your heart, or perhaps on your shoulder. Feel the point of contact, a subtle pressure, a warmth that begins to spread through your entire chest. And through this point of contact, a transmission begins. This is the divine handshake. It is a download, not of energy, but of information, of pure memory. Imagine a stream of liquid golden light, or pure crystalline data, flowing from their hand directly into your being. This is the memory of your own sovereignty. It is the cellular recollection of what it feels like to be inherently safe, to be whole, to be divine. This memory is bypassing your conscious mind. It is not a thought. It is a somatic truth flooding your system. Feel it pouring into your heart, awakening dormant codes. Feel it flowing down into your solar plexus, dissolving lifetimes of fear and uncertainty. Feel it spreading into every single cell, reminding each one of its divine origin, of its inherent invulnerability. Your DNA itself is remembering its true blueprint, the blueprint of a sovereign creator, not a fragile human. This is not a visualization you are forcing. This is an awakening you are allowing. Feel the sensation of it. It might feel like a vibration, a tingling, a deep sense of peace that you have craved your entire life. This is the feeling of coming home to yourself. As you integrate this activation, what one word surfaces to describe your new state of being? Hold that word. It is your anchor. Let this download continue, saturating every part of you. The memory is now fully installed. The old programs of vulnerability are being overwritten, not by force, but by the undeniable light of a higher truth, the truth of who you have always been. Now, we anchor it, we claim it, we make it an unbreakable command to the universe and to every cell of your body. With the presence of your future self as your witness, I want you to speak these words. You can say them aloud, a declaration into the fabric of reality, or you can speak them with absolute conviction in the quiet of your own soul. Repeat after me. I remember who I am. I claim my divine sovereignty now. The shield is active. The forgetting is over. Feel the power of those words. As you speak them, feel a profound shift in your energetic field. For some, it will feel like a deep hum locking into place. For others, a cosmic click as a final tumbler falls into alignment. For many, it will be a sudden, undeniable sensation of solidity, of coherence. Your field, once permeable and undefined, has just crystallized into its true, divine geometry. It is done. It is active. Now, for just a moment, remain here, inside this new reality. From inside this shield of coherent light, sense the world around you. Sense the room. Sense any sounds outside. Notice how different it feels. Everything outside of you is now just data. It is neutral. It is separate. It has no energetic hook into you. You can perceive the chaos of the world, but you are no longer a participant in it. You are the calm, sovereign center, the eye of the storm. You are looking at the world from inside your own kingdom, and it is impenetrable. Take one more deep breath, breathing in the truth of your new state. And as you exhale, slowly, gently, begin to bring your awareness back to your physical body. When you are ready, and only when you are ready, you may open your eyes. Welcome back. You are looking at the world through a different lens now, the lens of sovereignty. Notice what has changed. The colors in the room, the quality of the light, the feeling in your own body. The world is the same. You are not. The activation is complete. Welcome back, Sovereign One. Your only job now is to get used to living with this level of peace and power. The old operating system is gone. The new one is online. But like any new system, it comes with a user manual, a simple guide to navigating reality from this profound new state of being. This is not a list of chores. This is a celebration of your new capabilities, The first tool is for anchoring this reality every single morning. We call it the morning resonance check. The purpose of this is critical to understand. You are not reactivating the shield. It is permanently active. You are not checking for holes or weaknesses. It is inherently perfect. You are simply performing an act of conscious acknowledgement. You are beginning your day by shaking hands with your own divinity, reminding your human consciousness of the vast power it is now integrated with. This aligns your mind with the truth your soul has just reclaimed. The process is one of elegant simplicity. It should take no more than 5 seconds. First, upon waking, before your mind latches onto the day's to-do list, place a hand on your heart. This physical touch is a powerful anchor, connecting the physical body to the energetic truth. Second, take one single, deep, conscious breath. Inhale the reality of your sovereignty. Exhale any lingering dream state static. One breath is all it takes to center yourself in the present moment where your power resides. Third, as you breathe, internally state the command and the truth. I am sovereign. Feel the words. Don't just think them. Feel them resonate from your heart center outward, a low, powerful hum that is the base frequency of your field. This is the sound of your soul signature at full volume. That's it. You have now set the energetic keynote for your entire day. Now, let's address the most common mistake, the ghost of the old paradigm. The mistake is to perform this check from a place of fear. The old you might be tempted to scan your field, to look for gaps, to check if it's still working. This is like a king waking up in his castle and immediately checking the locks on the doors for fear of intruders. The very act introduces the possibility of a breach. You are not the security guard of your energy. You are the king of the castle. You must assume your authority is absolute. Assume the shield is perfect. Your acknowledgement does not fix it, it celebrates it. To check for a flaw is to energetically create the potential for one. Assume wholeness. Assume perfection. Your field will obey your assumption. This brings us to the second practical tool. For when you are moving through the world, we call it the neutral gaze. This is the true answer to protection from negative energy. You don't block it. You become harmonically misaligned with it, so it cannot find you. It simply cannot register on your frequency. The neutral gaze is how you consciously practice this misalignment when confronted with external chaos. It could be an angry person, a stressful news report, a wave of collective panic. In the past, this was a threat. Now, it is merely information. Here is how you engage the neutral gaze. First, recognize the discordant energy. Don't judge it. Don't fear it. Simply label it. This is chaos. This is fear. This is anger. The act of neutral labeling separates you from it instantly. Second, consciously pull your point of perception about 6 inches behind your eyes. Feel yourself sitting in the calm, silent throne room of your own consciousness, looking out at the world from within your sovereign field. This creates an immediate energetic buffer. Third, observe the chaos as if it were weather happening on the other side of a thick, soundproof window. You can see the storm, you can register that it's happening, but you do not feel the wind, you do not get wet. It is data, not a threat. It is an event in the external world, not an invasion of your internal kingdom. You remain the calm, still center. Starting tomorrow, what is one conversation, situation, or habit you will engage with differently, knowing your divine sovereignty shield is fully active? The common mistake here is subtle but crucial, bracing for impact. The moment you sense chaotic energy, the old self's instinct is to tense up, to clench, to create an internal wall. But your shield is not a rigid wall of force. It is a coherent field of light. It works best not when you are tense, but when you are completely relaxed. Bracing creates energetic tension, which introduces incoherence. It's like tightening a guitar string so much that it goes out of tune. The key is to relax into your sovereignty. When the storm rages outside the window, you don't brace against the wall. You lean back in your chair, take a sip of tea and simply watch, knowing you are utterly, completely safe. Relaxation is the ultimate expression of power. Finally, the third tool. This is for active disengagement. It is your divine right to choose your vibrational environment. We call this the sovereignty clause. This is for ending conversations, leaving situations, or declining invitations that are a clear vibrational mismatch. It is your ultimate permission slip to honor your own energy above all else. A sovereign does not entertain frequencies that are dissonant to their kingdom's peace. The application is direct and requires courage at first, but soon becomes second nature. First, recognize the vibrational mismatch. Your body will tell you. You'll feel a drain, a sense of unease, a feeling of your light dimming. This is the signal. Second, choose your simple, firm, and kind exit. This can be a verbal phrase or a physical action. A phrase could be, "I appreciate you sharing, but I'm not available for this conversation." Or, "My energy is needed elsewhere right now." Or a simple, "So I have to go." The physical action is even simpler. You just turn and walk away. Third, execute without justification. This is the key. You deliver your clause, and you disengage. You do not explain, you do not apologize, you do not soften the blow to manage their reaction. Your sovereignty is your reason. It needs no co-signer. The mistake, and it is the most deeply ingrained for so many, is to justify your exit. To explain is to re-engage. The moment you start saying, "I have to go because I'm feeling really drained and your energy is a bit much for me today," you have just handed your power back. You have re-entered the negotiation, asking them to validate your decision. A sovereign never asks for permission to govern their own state. You are not being rude. You are being clear. You are not being unkind. You are being energetically honest. Your clarity is a gift, both to yourself and to them. It ends the energetic entanglement cleanly. So we have the morning resonance check, the neutral gaze, and the sovereignty clause. But see the deeper truth. Your practice is not to do these tools. Your practice is to notice the constant stream of opportunities your life provides to remember the state you now embody. These tools are simply handrails as you learn to walk with your new, unshakable center of gravity. Your life is no longer about seeking safety. It is about expressing your sovereignty. You received the message. You ran the activation. You have the tools. The you that started this transmission an hour ago is a memory. That version of you was a beautiful, necessary precursor to the being you are now, but it no longer exists. You have collapsed a new wave of potential. You have remembered yourself into a new reality. You are now operating from a foundational state of safety and peace that is not contingent on what the world does, says, or thinks. It is contingent only on your own remembrance of your I am presence. Feel that. Feel the profound stillness at your core. This is your new 0 point. This is home. But this safety, this impenetrable peace, is not for hiding. It was never meant to be a fortress where you could retreat from the world. The divine sovereignty shield is not a wall. It is a stabilized launchpad. Protection was never the end goal. It was the necessary foundation for your true work to begin. For years, perhaps a lifetime, your energy has been spent in a low-grade battle of defense, fending off negativity, managing your boundaries, recovering from energetic drains. All of your sublime creative power was being diverted to simply maintain a perimeter. That is now over. When your field is stable, coherent, and no longer being pulled into chaos by the outside world, something extraordinary happens. It develops its own gravitational force. Think of it in terms of physics. A chaotic, incoherent system is unpredictable and weak. A coherent, stable system, like a laser, has immense power. Your energy field, now coherent, begins to exert a gentle but undeniable pull on the quantum field around you. You stop reacting to reality. You start attracting it. You become a sun and your life begins to arrange itself in orbit around your frequency, rather than you being a moon pulled into the orbit of other people's chaos. This is the great secret. The shield wasn't just to keep things out. It was to hold you in your own sacred power long enough for that power to build, to cohere, to become a creative force that shapes the very fabric of your experience. Activating the shield stops unwanted realities from claiming you. That was step one. The era of being a victim to circumstance, a receiver of ambient psychic noise, is complete. The next level of mastery is to consciously claim the reality you desire. This is where sovereignty meets creation. This is where your journey truly begins. What happens when a perfectly stable energy field, a field no longer leaking energy or being distorted by fear, focuses its intent? What happens when a divine sovereign decides what they wish to experience? It doesn't just attract, it doesn't just manifest, it literally bends space-time. The coherence of your field acts like a gravitational lens, warping the field of probability around you, making your desired outcome not just possible, but inevitable. You are no longer asking reality for a favor. You are informing reality of what is now true. This is the difference between hoping for a future and commanding it into existence. It is the shift from being a player in the game to being the physics of the game itself. That's why the next transmission is so critical. We have stabilized the vessel. Now we learn to pilot it with intention. We will explore the mechanics of this divine gravity. We will move from theory to application. The next chapter is titled Quantum Gravity Explained: How Your Energy Field Bends Reality to Match Your Will. We will also go deeper, accelerating the process with Conscious Creation is Faster Than You Think. Here's the quantum shortcut. Subscribe and turn on all notifications, because our next transmission, Quantum Gravity Explained: How Your Energy Field Bends Reality to Match Your Will, is the next evolution of this work. Activating your shield is step one. The next step is bending reality. Go forward from this moment not in defense, but in expression. Look at your world through the eyes of a creator, not a survivor. Listen with the ears of a composer, not someone waiting for a threat. You are no longer the energetic sponge, feeling everything and at the mercy of it all. You are the sovereign, the calm eye of the storm, the source of the light. Your protection is handled. It is an automatic function of your being, your true mission, the one you came here to fulfill, the art you came to make, the love you came to give, the systems you came to build, can now begin. All of that energy that was spent on worry, on defense, on recovery, is now yours to command. Go and be the magnificent light you are.